cash flow negative, rent control, tenants not paying you, you would think things would have got better in Ontario for landlords by now. But here comes 2025 and it's worse. Unless you adapt and you are going to bleed money. And in today's video, we are going to talk about how you can navigate in current financial situation and in this market. Hey, this is Parth Soni, a realtor based in Ontario. If you are a landlord or thinking about becoming a one, you need to understand why so many investors are struggling in this market, even with the higher rents. In this video, we will break down what's changed, what's broken, and how smart landlords are adapting to stay profitable. So first, let's figure out what are the main problems most of the landlords are facing right now. The very first one on the list are the mortgage renewals, which is equaling to negative cash flow. Now, rents may have gone up by 20 to 30%, but interest rates have almost doubled. Now, let's take an example and check this out. So if you see over here rental numbers, this is what I suggest all of my landlord clients to do this. It's from rental.ca. It will provide you a detailed number, what is happening in your particular city, and also what is happening in an overall Canada and a blanket state as well. So if you see over here, this is something what we have back in April. The average rent in Canada was $1,662 and it quickly grew up, but it went down a little bit. And right now we are sitting at $2,127 in April of 2025. Now, if you compare April of 2021 and April of 2025, and again, I will tell you why I'm comparing April, because we don't have March or May number as of right now. And 2021 to 2025, they're roughly about like 4-year gap. So let's check it out. What happened in 2021? We have $1,662, and in 2025, $2,127 rent, and that is an increase of approximately 28%. Now, if you check out the rental numbers, now as I mentioned, these numbers are based all over Canada, and if you're someone where majority of my clients are in Ontario, this number will be on a higher side because these are average numbers. So in Ontario, the average numbers right now are $2,340, and depending on the city to city, it could be higher or lower. So that 600,000 investment property with $2,000 monthly mortgage in 2021, now it's $2,700 to $2,800 a month, and then you add insurance taxes, your rent does not cover. The second problem most of the landlords are facing is the Ontario rent control still strangles you. Now, if your tenant has been there since 2022, you can only raise rent by 2.5% in 2025. Even your costs have gone up by 20%. And landlords with long-term tenants are stuck unless the unit turns. The other reason are the tenants are smarter and slower to live. Now, tenants know that they cannot find the same rent anywhere else. They have been staying longer, even fighting evictions and more aggressively, especially with landlords. And they know that the landlord tenant board does have a backlog. So they, in some cases, tenants do take advantage of it. And we also have a term for that. It's called professional tenants, where they know each and everything and they misuse it. The next on the list is the maintenance costs are rising. Now, this is the hidden cost not many investors talk about, like labor shortage and material costs have pushed maintenance expenses by 30 to 40%. And in some cases, it's even higher. The thing that you are getting replaced for $2,000 back in 2022 might cost you more than $3,000 right now. The fifth on the list is the no real support from LTV, that is a landlord tenant board. By the way, I would highly recommend, if you're someone who's looking to get into on the landlord side, make sure you know a little bit of basic rules. Check out LTV board. What are the things happening down there? Join some Facebook group communities so you get a better idea of what is happening on a ground level rather than just sitting out and just running all the numbers. That's all. Now we know the system is still broken. Hearing takes months, and even when you win, enforcement is painfully slow. I have seen landlords wait over a year just to evict a non-paying tenant while still paying the mortgage, tax, utilities, and everything. And it seems like tenant have all the protection and the landlord have all the response. Now let's take a real case example and I will show you what happened with one of. Now here is an investor which I worked with them back in 2021, and let's check out their number. So we purchased a property for $700,000 back in 2021. The interest rate was roughly about 2.1%. That's what they got, and the mortgage is $2,400. I am only considering mortgage right now, no property tax, maintenance, or any other thing as of right now. The mortgage is $2,400, and we all know what happened after 2021 and 2022, especially when after 3 years in 2024, when they have to renew the interest rate, The newer interest rate came at 5.5 and the mortgage went to $3,400. From $2,400 to $3,400, that's $1,000 increase. Now, just keep in mind, at the same time, this is something happened. The thing that which we are getting, the rent was $2,400. Again, it was not cash flow positive at that time when we purchased the property, but most of the clients who I work with very much know about all this stuff and they bet on appreciation rather than a cash flow positive. They are okay to lose 300, $400, 500 depending on their pockets, but they are okay to lose some amount of money for the greater gains. Now this is what happened in 2024 rent. Now, by default, you can only increase by 2.5%. So, rental in 2024 for the same house jumped from $2,400 to $2,580, but the mortgage was almost jumped by $1,000. So, you can see this client will be very much negative in right now in terms of cash flow. Now we help them pivot and now they are having a little bit less negative cash flow. And this is something all the strategy we do with all our clients, even once they purchase and closed after a long period of time. Now, here are some of the things that you can do if you are a landlord right now and stuck in this kind of situation. The very first one on the list is to legalize your secondary unit or convert it into multiplex. Now, many cities like Kitchener-Waterloo now allowing 4 units on a single lot. Now, this could double your income potential and could save your investment. So make sure you work with someone who knows all of this and have a professional enough to guide you well, because sometimes even after investing the ROI might not be good enough. Most of the time how investor will do it, if they are planning to add a unit into that one, that will definitely give some extra rental income to them, but most of the time they will also appraise the same unit so they can get a higher return, or if depending on the equity they can get some sort of a cash back which they can use somewhere else. The next on the list is to target newer or turnover ready properties. Now, this will avoid long term tenant traps. Now, look for properties that will be vacant or closing, and that will allow, or some of the properties will also allow you for major renovations post purchase. Sometimes you can consider short term rental or mid term rentals as well. Most of the like Airbnb now, depending on the city to city, furnished mid term rentals like 30 to 90 days for a nurse, tech workers or students are booming right now and cash flow positive and they are legally compliant. What we are seeing right now is that most of, if you convert your property into this kind of rentals, you may have a good cash flow, but not many investors would try to do that because they don't have stability. You might get good income for a month, but next month you it may be fully vacant. So not many people are entering into that. It's mainly for a savvy investors who have a portfolio of properties and they can do this strategy on their one or two properties where the market allows to do. The next on the list will be to work with a pro who understands the terrain. A lot of agents says that they know real estate investment, but very few live in or understand local bylaws like short-term rental rules and tenant screening properly and all that kind of stuff. Even just to give you an idea, City of Kitchener have different bylaws compared to City of Waterloo. Even they are like very nearby. So make sure you work with someone who knows all this stuff and then can guide you and help you for success. Now, being a landlord in Ontario isn't for a faint of heart, especially in 2025. But if you know the rules, you can still win. I work with investors across GTA and Waterloo region to help them find the right strategy. Now, drop a comment if you're struggling with a property or thinking of getting in. Now, don't forget to like and subscribe for more no BS housing insight. Thank you so much for watching. I will see you in the next one.